waiting all year for this. This is epic. Go drink a little drink. Probably not smoke a little smoke. Go be fun. Stay tuned. Here we are, opening weekend, buddy.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So let's show everybody around a little bit of our setup. What do you think?
Let's do it. See, everybody comes in here and they hang up their...
We got our buddy Jevin that dove into a kitchen table a couple years back like a Buffalo Bills fan and blew his shoulder apart. And is now using this setup.
And you can hear everybody in there right now. This is just crazy.
Got the bows hanging. Coolers of beer. Apparently a deer just ran down through. Gear. The Ozonics bag.
Sorry about that. I freaking just ran across.
There's the old man's crossbow, cross gun. This is our view.
Welcome to the Everyday Bow Hunter. I'm your host, Mike Manley, retired Green Beret turned bow hunter, joined by my brother Dan Zeman. We're here to share tips, stories, and talk gear, all from our unique points of view. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned bow hunter, I think you're going to like it. So let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 9 of the Everyday Bow Hunter podcast. Dan and I together for
Finally.
first time. And we're up at camp.
Mountain behind us.
Opening day today in Pennsylvania. Eventful day. We really haven't had any luck. But it's still great to be here. And we're going to talk about the woes and begos of today and what we accomplished and what we didn't accomplish. So starting off though, we do have a listener question. And a listener sent me a message on Instagram, and he was inquiring about the one sticks from Tethered. If you're not familiar with this, Tethered not only makes saddles, but they make like the Skeletor climbing sticks like I have, and then they have the one sticks, and the one sticks are their ultralight climbing sticks. These things are pretty expensive too. They're pricey.
Well, this is your area expertise. Me not climbing, hunting off the ground. Mike, this one's all you. Give the guy what he wants to know.
Yeah, all he asked really was, he said, hey, they got the cam buckle straps with the one sticks. Should I invest in an Amsteel daisy chain for it or something else? Is there something else you recommend for these sticks? And I absolutely 150% recommend that you get an Amsteel daisy chain. Now, I bought some really nice ones. I have Tethers, but I went and got one from Latitude Outdoors. I use them on my Novix 32-inch climbing sticks because they came with cam buckle straps. And doing a cam buckle strap, every time you put a stick up and you have 4 sticks, can be so tedious and take so long. With the daisy chain, all you're doing is whipping it around the tree, hooking it up, pulling down on your stick, and you're going to the next one. So that's the way to go. Not to mention it's a heck of a lot lighter than having those cam buckle straps with you. It just has a bunch of extra weight that you don't need.
Yeah.
You know? Already enough stuff to carry out.
In this game, weight, the more you can minimize that weight content, especially like what we did today, that we put on 4 miles, and to have more weight on you, it'll smoke you. You know what I mean?
My watch actually said 4 miles.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
All right, good. That was pretty on then.
So anyway, today we have a bunch of guys up here at camp. They're actually out hunting right now. Dan and I did some active scouting today. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I started off the day. I went pretty close to camp. I was kind of going on a meat run, start season practice, get that first arrow out before, I hopefully get a buck in my sights. And I wanted to be able to get a doe. And I went to a place where I know it's a habitual doe travel route in the mornings. And I didn't see any doe, but I did see a deer. I just didn't know what it was. When I was climbing up the tree this morning, I was like on my third stick and I heard something, below me.
Yeah.
I looked down. I had my red light on, of course. So I was like trying to see it. And because there's a lot of thick foliage under it, I had a really good tree.
You just were right underneath the umbrella of the foliage.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So sitting above that, you can, and then had a really good shooting lanes coming out of it. And, but anyway, I didn't see what it was. So I don't know if it was a buck, doe, or whatever. But when I ended up coming down out of the tree, then there was a scrape 10 yards from the tree that was fresh. And I didn't know if he was digging on that.
Yeah.
Scrape
What you
right
heard
down.
was he at that scrape.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'd like to think that because it was so fresh and it had that,
Right.
the dirt turned up and everything. So anyway, that was that's the good story of the morning. The bad story of the morning is when I got up in the tree. We talked about this a couple times about first day being jacked up or whatever.
Yeah.
I had my whole system down. It didn't matter.
Well,
I got up in the tree, and now I have the thing that screwed me up was I'm testing this ozonics unit, right? And I've never carried this. This is just one more thing to have in the tree.
Yeah.
I'd have the camera and everything. And it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, the ozonics strap has to go above my strap with all my other stuff. I hang my bow on and everything.
Your safety thing and
So
yeah.
I have my strap for my gear.
Right.
Below that's my tether.
Right.
And now above that, I have to put this
Ozonic
strap on.
Yeah.
And the mistake I made was the tree that I had hunted out of a couple times down there has now gotten bigger.
Oh, okay.
So
Trying to get around.
it was, I should have just gone to a different tree because I know that area well. I could have gone to an alternate tree.
And we just talked about this on a podcast right before this, number 8, talking about not being lazy and just making the move. What we were talking about bad habits and self-correcting. And what you said when you came back was, I didn't move and I should have.
But it is such a good tree.
Yeah.
The spot is great. It just, because of it being like that, I'm around like this. When you're doing this kind of stuff with saddle hunting and stuff, you want a basketball sized tree because you can work around it. You can put your arms around it if you lose your balance or something. And when you have a bigger tree like that, you're like, I'm like taking the dyno rope from the Skeletors and I'm
trying to throw it around the tree. Yeah.
That was not the answer.
Now remember, I used to climb, so I do know what he's talking about. And that was even more miserable for me, being afraid of heights out there trying to rope things around. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a pass on this because it was opening morning. If you give me a pass.
I'm not done. We can hit that for a second. I'm not done. We can hit that. We can hit that in a second. But once I got the ozonics set up itself, the bar with it and stuff, as soon as I got that set and I tightened it down, it was literally, I popped in the mount, I hooked the unit on,
right.
I hit the whatever you call it. I turned it and tightened it. Boom, it was done. And I didn't have to touch it the rest of the time. I did move it left and right based on the winds.
Right.
The winds weren't really strong. I was dropping milkweed like crazy this morning. It was dropping. I was right on the edge of a stream. And the crazy thing about mornings sometimes, when it's still cold, everybody equates mornings to the thermals rising, but you still have that cool period in the morning and they were just dropping like a brick.
Yeah.
And milkweed was dropping like a brick this morning. So that's something to think about. When I was doing it, I was saying to myself, that's something to remember.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
You're still at that point in the morning, and they say at first sunlight is when it actually becomes its coldest. And then it starts to warm up immediately after.
Yep. So you got to think you got to think about your scent getting pulled down as if you're hunting just above, the bottom of a valley or something, you're hunting at the bottom,
right.
And expect those thermals to rise, but they're not going to rise for a while. So it couldn't be they were really swirling in there. One minute they were going, I had a west wind. Next minute I had.
That's how that is, because that's like a bowl down in there.
It's really a thermal hub almost. Yeah. So anyway, that was my trials and tribulations this morning. I got it wickered out. It was a nice sit in the tree. although I was a little hungover.
First day, about 7 o'clock. Getting settled in here. Hopefully something comes through. Not expecting too much here, but I'll give it a shot first day. We'll see what happens.
But we'll talk about your morning, Dan. How was your morning?
Speaking of hangover, so we get up. I reluctantly got up. We're out here sitting here drinking coffee. Everybody leaves. And our cousin goes out and has to go to the shit house, and it hits me. Boom, boom, right in my stomach. And I walk out and I throw up. Let's just say I may have been a little excited for the season last night. And our cousin Alex always shows up with a half gallon of whiskey. And it got the best of me. And I went against everything that I preached about prior podcast and sat here and said, I don't do that anymore. But I didn't have the off switch last night. I was one gear and we had one hell of a good time. The music was going. The stories were happening. And we had a great time.
I had the off switch.
You had the off switch, and he was actually in the living room
watching
football and apparently saying, yeah, he ain't getting up tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
I said that tomorrow.
I got up. I just couldn't make it out. I was so hungover. It was so bad. As soon as I threw up, I came back in. I'm like, I got to go lay back down. I did. And, some little liquid IV and our 4-mile jaunt today, I sweated that right out. But, on that note, we did get to do some good active scouting today. It was extremely productive, I feel. And the craziest thing out there is we saw so many animal signs, the skat of coyote, deer, bear. The only thing we did not see, we saw bobcat tracks. We saw it all out there. The only thing we didn't see was turkey tracks.
Which was very surprising. Now, it's because it rained all day yesterday and the day before, kind of.
Right,
we had a lot of rain, so we were able to see a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
Had some monster tracks.
We saw
some huge,
really big.
It's like palm-sized tracks. They were big. And we also saw more than palm-sized bear tracks.
That bear paw print and the weight of it pushed down into that dirt. That's a big bear.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him in a couple weeks when that season opens up.
How this all started was I have done just a massive amount of e-scouting on X.
Yeah.
And I was just enamored with this location that we'd hunted up here in these mountains forever.
Yeah. Since I was a kid, we were kids.
Since we were kids, yeah. And never had hunted this area. I've never walked to it, nothing. And it's just kind of hidden. It is a long trek to get into.
It's all uphill to the top of the mountain, but it was so gradual that it's not very hard work. It just is a good deterrence to keep here we are hunting public land, to keep other hunters out. Not to say that other hunters won't go in there. It's just saying we may have found something here.
So just to give you an idea, there's a kind of a false top. Like you come from there's a stream bed, it goes up gradual, and then it kind of goes up steep like you're at the top of the mountain, but you're not. And it goes down again, and then it flattens out for about 300-400 yards, and then it goes up to the top of the mountain. So it's a kind of a bowl sitting in between two ridge lines.
But at a higher elevation.
Yeah. So it's much higher. It's very close to the top of the mountain, and you have this huge flat. And I said, it wasn't just the flat that enamored me. The thing that I saw a major transition in the middle of it on e-scouting, a huge open area.
Two of them.
Yeah. And said, hey, we need to scout this.
And we did. And we get to the first one. And it kind of looked like an apple tree, but maybe dying.
Yeah. Look, it was dying.
So we go up to this apple tree and right to it's kind of up at the top of where the field rounds off and ends. And it sits up there and you just kind of look at it and you go, ooh, that looks like a spot where they would scrape and lick and branch and all that.
Well, there's deer trail just basically hugging
the edge of it.
Which was so worn down.
So we saw a bunch of coyote skat in there and this and that.
Very fresh. We had that one pile that had flies on it still.
Yes. It was very runny almost still.
Yeah.
So over in these little spruces, we saw some semi-fresh, remember me saying FFDS, fairly fresh deer shit. We went over into there. It was pretty promising in there, but we back out to that tree, and off to the right into the ferns, there was one hell of a beat down trail going in there that led right to that tree that was out in the open, the dying apple tree.
Yeah.
We get in there, and there was an acorn drop like we've never seen before. We were like in there just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. Like,
If you've ever heard anybody talk about like a feed tree, a tree where all the deer will go, and then the thing about that spot too, Dan, was that there was all these ferns around the whole place, and that spot had none.
None.
It was totally cleared out. Like you wonder if that was because of the deer being in there feeding on the acorns all the time. They couldn't.
No, but it was like a carpet of acorns.
It's
you could not see an acorn.
It was literally flooded
with
acorns. In fact, I'm like, I want to hunt tomorrow, but we can't hunt on Sundays.
yeah. Maybe
that
later.
Spot, to me, that's like possibly a spot that they're going to be in the morning feeding.
Yes.
All right. So maybe in the evening hunt, you'd be able to get in there and set off of that trail coming in, or the trail coming in, not right necessarily where they're feeding.
Yeah.
Looking, but anyway, that there was incredible. I've never seen that many acorns on the ground
in one spot from one tree producing.
It was probably, what do you want to say? How big of an area? 20 by 20?
Probably 20 by 20. Yeah. Easy 20 by
yard,
maybe even more than 20 by 20. But
20 yard by 20 yard area, easily just saturated with acorns. It was incredible.
Yeah. Pretty cool to see. So we back out of there, and we had talked about, putting a ground blind at the edge. Just if he wants to go in and hunt this feed tree, I can get to the backside of this field, which is about 100 yards away, if not more, about 150.
Yeah.
And I can just kind of watch it. It would be like an active scouting hunt, but from my blind.
Like
and I could sit there and just observe what they're doing, when they're coming and going during the day, if that's happening at all. So we back out of there. And there was the original path that we wanted to take, but this opening kind of took us that direction first. So we decided to go down this path, and we run into a water hole, which was pretty promising. I reckon it's going to probably dry up at some point, but now we know with heavy rains where this water hole is going to be. And, throughout our season up here in this valley, we get a lot of storms come through. So
being that it's so far away from every other water source there.
Yeah, because all the water sources are down at the bottom.
All their water sources are down at the bottom. And that they're up there, that's a place, and we saw the tracks going right to it.
It was like funnels, like in the Serengeti Desert, like running to water, you know what I mean?
It's like if you've ever seen videos of people that are doing artificial ponds or artificial watering.
Right.
Andy did that.
Yes.
On his property. It has massive amount of animals at that thing.
All the time. He's got all kinds of different animals,
So this is what it's like, it's just in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, we saw several places as we were going. We probably traveled, to give you an idea, out, because I said, if we went 500 yards out, we have another 500 yards to this point.
And then another 500.
Another 500 yards. It just kept on being 500 yards. I think, like we said, the total was just over 4 miles. So it was probably 2 miles out and
then 2 miles back.
2 miles back.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good trek.
It's a good trek, but it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not hard on the body. Now, if you have a deer cart and stuff, it's going to be a lot easier. Especially,
you don't want to drag a deer back that thing.
I said to him on the way back, I said, you got to drag a deer all the way back from out there. It's not going to have any hair left on its side. It's going to be doe to the skin. You can make some leather out of that then.
I'm not shooting a doe out there.
No, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
Not to work that hard.
No way.
Not for a doe, but a nice buck, yeah, absolutely.
So we talked about, but along the way, we're running into just trail after trail. The trail systems and the traffic on it and all their tracks in the mud, and then seeing the direction that they're going, where they're going, was incredible. And that we've scouted, innumerable places up here.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen a place that just was just getting me that excited.
So it kind of switched back. We went the whole way up, and the main trail we went, but it went back to this opening, the second opening that we went.
That opening was probably 200 yards by
massive,
by 100, something like that.
Yes, it was massive.
So it was like longer the one way and then shorter.
But the good thing is on our way up this way, we saw trails. And then when we got switched around, we saw trails. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty self-explanatory of which way they're coming and going. And you can physically see, which was perfect today because of the rain, which direction they were heading. Predominantly, you know, you can see it.
We saw trails where it was obvious where the grass was over, and it was obviously they're going up the mountain here.
Yes.
And then this next trail was obvious they're coming down the mountain on this
yes.
one.
Yep.
And so we got up on that upper trail, and where we're going, basically running the ridge line down in that flat.
Yeah.
And then we get to that opening, and it was like we walked up there, and it was like there's like a cattle pen in the mud right next to the basically at the entrance going to the field. It's like you hit that transition line, and you like break the seal in the woods,
right? And
you're in that opening, and right there, literally right there.
It was like our family has had a farm, and where all the steer would congregate, that's almost like what it looked like.
Yeah.
But a lot smaller than steer prints, but it was pretty cool. And I think today's adventure was pretty successful. Now, if you could see behind us, we had plenty of daylight to keep hunting, but the bugs were atrocious.
Oh my God.
It was ungodly.
It was, I can't even explain it to you. And you'd have to experience it yourself. It was the no-see-ums or gnats or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And even with the bug shirts on and everything, permethrin and all that, it did not matter.
I had the Cabela's Bugskins hood on.
I had the Sitka Equinox Guard stuff, which has did me well, multiple times. And it didn't matter because they weren't landing on this.
Right.
That's not, they weren't landing on it at all, but they were coming into my eyes.
Yeah.
My eyes are still sore from it.
Yeah.
I had
picking them out. The thing is I think
literally we stopped at the one moment there when we were down at the very entrance of the field.
Yeah.
And it was literally a cloud of them around us.
Yeah.
And we just getting out of there and walking back that 2 miles, it was just from the temperature had risen because we got there fairly early in the afternoon. Yeah. Temperature had gone up, and next thing you know, we are just getting destroyed.
Yeah. We thought
we had every part of ourselves covered, and we're trying to, and when you're walking, it's a lot better.
Yeah, if you keep moving.
It would literally be so bad. Dan would go, oh, look at this trail. We missed this one. Look at this one here. I'm like, stop for a second. I said, don't ever stop again.
He's like, don't stop. Just keep moving. Keep moving. Just bank it and keep moving. But yeah, we got to a point where we're out there, had full expectations to stay out there till dark, and we kind of threw in the towel. We had enough. We were getting eaten alive, and I said, you know what? Maybe this is perfect.
We have at least 3 hunts out there. At least 3 hunts.
Yeah. So I think it worked out well in our favor. And for this instance, this weekend, the camp is packed with people. So it gave us an opportunity to get back here, get a little something to eat, and cut in this podcast while nobody was here and get to do it here from camp, which with everybody here, nobody would shut up. Yeah. So not that there's anything wrong with that. That's the point of camp.
It's a great crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, but we're also, I'm up next Thursday night.
Okay. I'm not here till Friday.
Okay. So I'm here Thursday night to hunt Friday and Saturday. Sunday, of course, we can't hunt in PA. And then Monday is Columbus Day and I have off, and I was planning on staying and hunting that morning. We'll see. The wife might have something to say about it. So.
Yeah, I don't have Columbus Day off. I don't have a government job. But no, man.
Whatever.
I'll tell you what. It feels so good to be here. Like it feels so good to it's here. And now, after blowing this weekend, now it's time to put the work in. And I'm pretty excited about it.
So I have still, like I talked about, in the weeks prior, when we were talking about all our season prep and stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing that kept me from a bunch of the spots that I've scouted is one, you look at the early season like this and that food to bed pattern, a lot of the spots that I have scouted I don't expect them to get really hot for at least at a minimum another week, but probably another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
As we get more into October. But the wind also today was just really weird. The forecast had it that there was going to be a westerly wind up until about 7 o'clock in the morning. And then it was going to turn into a north wind And I was just like, there's a bunch of my places right now are only good for an east wind, which is a hard wind to get here in PA.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of how they're traveling. And if you know how they're traveling and they're traveling west with the wind in their face and to get to their bed, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
And that's something that I got to deal with and try to figure out a little bit more, because on an east wind, they might not travel.
Excuse me. Sorry. I'm telling you, my guts are, I really did it last night.
Hey,
but
at least it wasn't 2 a.m. like the last time.
No, but I'll tell you what, it was a good time. We had some good food going. I cooked up some pork belly and we had some good. So here at our camp, we have a tradition, and every Friday night is Friday night steak night. So you rely on people from the past season getting a deer. So this week we butcher our own animals. So I cut an extra thick steak just for tonight, and it was phenomenal. So next week, per se, it might be you or Dad or our friend Jevin. Speaking of Jevin said this morning around 8:30, and we're a little earlier than 8:30, that Dad was not far from, and they heard this deer blowing at him. And next thing you know, Jevin sees another hunter, and the guy's zigzagging around like he's trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Well, the guy gets out of there. He lost sight of him. The guy gets out of there. Jevin's like, you know what? I want to go see what the heck that was all about.
He stayed in his stand pretty long.
He was there for a while.
It was like till 11 or something like that.
11, yeah. So he gets out, gets down, and gets on blood. And next thing you know, he sees a gut pile here. That other hunter, he was getting agitated with, was getting himself a deer out of the woods. So congratulations to that guy. Opening day kill. Pretty freaking awesome.
Still don't know what it was.
No, but hey,
buck or doe. So
venison's venison at this point.
I'm hoping that down the road here tells us what's going on.
He's a good dude, and he'll let us know who got that, what they got.
I hope he knows, because I'd like to know if I was, somebody takes a big buck in here.
Yeah.
There's a big 8 up around here that's made it through last year.
Yeah.
And he's probably bigger this year, and I'm anxious to see if somebody gets him.
Yeah. Hopefully one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't hunt around camp. You know how I am. I just don't. There's so many people that hunt in this general vicinity that, it's easy for them to get to from their houses and stuff. And
but here's the thing. A lot of the bigger bucks lay close to camp.
They do.
And
I'm just a hard head.
It's all right. Like I'm glad we went out and did what we did today. I think that was pretty cool. Put some miles on. Got to sweat out last night's little drinking problem.
So the thing that really struck me was, that I hunted a couple different places, scouted a bunch of places where I've had pockets of acorns.
Yeah.
But up there was just,
I've never seen anything like it.
So many acorns.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was cool to see.
That is. And then these spots are just not easy to get to. You just don't see other hunters up there. I mean, it's so hard to get to that our own dad never went up there to hunt. Although I think Brad might have gone up there before.
Yeah, I think Brad went up there.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a long season, and I'm excited to go up there with you and actually get a hunt when the temperature drops and the bugs ain't. That was ridiculous today. That was, it takes a lot for you to throw in a towel on a hunt.
You know what? The last time I went through something like that up here was in turkey season, maybe.
Spring gobbler?
Yeah, spring gobbler.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, heck, almost 10 years ago.
You and Dad came out of the woods looking like you had scabies.
We didn't have any bug stuff. We just had like some bug spray.
Yeah.
And masks and stuff, of course. We were up there by Red Man, and we were calling, and we had one coming into us.
Yeah.
The bugs are bad when you say you have a turkey calling back to you and you say, screw it, we're out of here.
We're out of here.
You
can't take it anymore. That's
I came back, my whole forehead, where I didn't have a mask, because I only had mask pulled up.
Yeah.
My whole forehead was
mosquito bites.
Saturated.
Yeah.
Saturated with bites. My hands were hit. It was unreal. Haven't had the bug experience like that
until today. Yeah. At least they weren't biting today. It was just, they were dive bombing.
They were going for your eyes.
It was so ridiculous. You almost couldn't, I would stand there like this for a couple minutes and then look around, get my bearings, and then you'd have to,
I was pulling my mask up so close on my eyes it was irritating me, but I was leaving it there because
Yeah.
it was better than
Yeah.
being irritated by that was better than the bug. So, well, I think that that's a good quickie,
Yeah. Yeah.
a quick podcast here.
Hey, not congratulations, but good luck, everybody. Start of the season.
Yeah.
Let's go. Kill, kill, kill.
Hey, if you have any questions, just like we said before, send them in to us. We'd love to hear them. Love to answer them on the podcast. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. And we really appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.